Can you guess who finished work yesterday and is now done for the year? Good morning guys, how are you all doing? I know it's been a while, which is why I'm going to call this video story time, because I've got a story to tell you concerning this little monkey. And whilst I'm chatting away, I'm going to have my coffee, my second one of the day already. I'm that tired. But like I say, I'm done for the year work wise, which is good. It's not been all 12-hour work. Last week, for the first time in about 2.5 years, I did a night shift, 10 PM while 6 AM for 5 nights, and it's messed me up. I'll get to that if I remember. And the week before that, I did, for the first time in maybe 3-4 years, afternoon shifts, 2 PM while 10 PM. Anyway, that's not the story. It's nothing to do with work. Like I say, it's to do with him. In fact, let's try and do a recap. I almost thought about maybe doing a previously on and then showing clips, but that means me looking for those clips and I really can't be bothered. I'm on holiday now, I need to rest. So the recap is, the last time I talked to you guys, my car, the heating wasn't working and this poor boy was limping. I don't know if I mentioned the last time that because I was on 12-hour days at the time, he needed to go to the vets. I couldn't take him, so because he was at Joe and Pete's, Joe took him for me, put him on some pain medication, and they said give it a week, and if nothing's improved, I'm going to need to take him to the vet hospital in Rotherham. So that's where the story starts. He needs plenty of loves because he's missed me. Because last week I've been on 12-hour days. So the week of my afternoon shifts, I called the vet hospital, got him an appointment for 8 o'clock that Tuesday morning, and so 7:15 we set off. Now I didn't know where this hospital was, so I was relying on Google Maps on my phone. You know how much I hate sat-navs? Well, sat-navs hate me too, because for some reason the sat-nav took me into the centre of Rotherham. I mean, not the smack bang middle, but where there was rush hour traffic. I was going along a road, nice and clear, gets to the end, queue of cars all the way up. Sorry, have I stopped stroking you? So I had to get into that queue, and it was a case of stop start, because traffic lights and people coming in from other roads trying to get into this queue of traffic. And as I'm going up the hill and I'm stood there waiting for the next set of lights to change, my car started beeping at me, telling me it was overheating. I'm like, what? I mean, I was already flustered because I was watching the clock and that time was just disappearing. I had to be there for 8 o'clock, it was already 5 to 8 and I was stuck in this traffic. And I'm like, oh. So every time I was stood or stopped, I'd turn the engine off, wait till the traffic started moving again, turn the engine back on and carried on going. And I kept watching that needle on the temperature gauge, it was rising. I got through one set of lights into some more traffic, and as I was coming to another set of lights, stopping and starting, turning the engine off and back on again, I'm like, I think I recognise this area. Lo and behold, as I got onto another road, I'm like, I definitely know where I am now. And sure enough, that's where the hospital was. And I'm like, the sat-nav has took me around through heavy traffic instead of just doing a straight line from my house, because it's like 5, maybe 6 miles straight, pretty much, from my house to this hospital. So why had it get me going left, right, centre and all around all these places and into traffic? Because sat-navs hate me. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on about that, but just know that I now know where the hospital is. I don't need the sat-nav anymore for that. So I was a bit late when I got there. Thankfully I didn't miss his appointment because the traffic was that heavy. Some of the people who worked there, they were late too. Harley got seen and pretty much was told the same thing as the other vet, that there's something wrong with his leg. I mean, obviously he's limping. I already knew that. But she was saying it feels like it's something around the knee, and that he's going to have a scan, an x-ray, whatever. She was saying, we'll get in contact with you to let you know when this is going to happen. Fair enough. Another 75 quid down the Swanee just to have him looked at. Yeah, that's peanuts compared to what happens next. After we came out of the vet, I thought, I need to check the engine on the car. I mean, it's overheating. The first thing you're going to think of is coolant. Is there something wrong there? Lo and behold, yes there was. It was empty. Why was it empty? I don't know. There was a little bit of residue in the bottom. So of course, I had to take my time getting home. Now the thing is, one road it does 50 and then it goes to 60, and when it becomes a dual lane it turns to 70. I didn't go above 60 along that road, and I'm watching the needle on the temperature gauge going up again. So much in fact that as I got to, I forgot the name of the place, a built-up area. It was a 30 zone anyway. The car started beeping at me again, telling me it's overheating, so I had to pull the car over, turn the engine off, let it cool down. And after that, because there are roads where it's 50 miles an hour and whatnot, I thought I'm taking a detour and just staying to roads that are no more than 40 miles an hour. And just as I got home, that needle was climbing to the red again on the temperature gauge. So luckily it didn't do it again. Brought Harley into the house, dropped him off, and then I thought I'd better go to Halfords to get some coolant. So off I went to Halfords, asked for the coolant for my car, and I went and topped it up. And then I got back in the car. At this point I'm thinking, I need to give the car a good run. I also need to go to Lidl. And I kid you not, within 2 minutes, I was no longer shivering in the car, because that's what I've been doing most of that morning, because I was in my thick coat, no heating on in the car. Suddenly, I'm warming up and I'm like, what the heck? I put my hand on one of the vents and sure enough there was heat coming out of it, and I'm like, what? Turns out the reason there was no heating in the car is because there was very little coolant in the coolant container. I didn't know. I don't know these things. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a car mechanic or anything like that. How was I supposed to know? I've never faced this situation before. Now I have. So by the time I got to Lidl, I was pretty much very, 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 very warm. That problem has been solved, because since then I've not checked the coolant. No, I checked it once and it was halfway down, so I'm assuming because it was getting back into the system, so I topped it back up again. And since then I've had heating in the car, no problems whatsoever. So that's solved. Now back to Harley. Gosh, I got a message later that day saying bring Harley in Thursday morning at 7 AM so he can have his scan. So come Thursday I set off, knew exactly where to go, straight line, got there early by 7:15. I only set off like 20 minutes earlier, no rush hour at that time. Goes in and they took me into a room and they started discussing what has to happen next. And because Harley's an older dog, he's 11, I guess he is older now, because they've got to give him anaesthesia, anaesthetic. I can say the word. That it might have some sort of adverse effects on him because he's a lot older. So it's my choice, but I could pay this extra amount of money for some other drugs that will, I can't remember what they said, counteract the effects of the anaesthesia, even though he'll still be under. I didn't really quite understand it, but I said yes, because, you know, I didn't want any complications. I had to leave him there for this. Went home, spent most of the morning being very, very anxious and hoping everything's gone okay. Started having some food a bit earlier than normal. And then, as I'm eating my food, I get a phone call saying, he's had his scan, he's awake now, he's just resting, you can come pick him up for 12 o'clock. Aces. 12 o'clock came around, I got to the hospital again, went in, and they told me what the problem was. He has a torn ligament in his knee. Now here's the thing, right? She said to me that it isn't healing naturally on its own. It'll take a bit of time, and he needs a lot of rest. However, it'll most likely cause arthritis. And I'm thinking, he's old, he's going to get arthritis anyway. So she started saying, well, if you don't do that, he's going to need surgery, which is what they recommend. Yeah, I know why they recommend it. So she said there's one that they've been doing for many, many years, and this one would cost £2,700. Now you're probably thinking, oh, just claim it on the insurance. Yeah. A few years ago I had stopped paying pet insurance because I couldn't afford it. Now I can afford it, but I've left it a bit too late to start it. So that'd be out of my pocket. But then she was saying, but we've got this other surgery that we can do. It's, you know, they've been doing it a few years, but it's much more new, where they'll put pins in his knee to help support it, blah, blah, blah. This one was going to cost $3,700. I'm like, okay. And then she started telling me other possibilities. For example, where they cut open his knee is an artery, and there's always that potential of nicking it, and if that happens they'd have to wake him up to stop it, and if they can't stop it he's going to go to doggy heaven. And that was a prospect I cannot face. But she was like, but we'll leave it up to you, we'll let you decide. And then I went to go pay for the scan that I had done for him, £960 and 29 pence. I really should add that 29 pence because it makes all the difference. So that was out of my pocket too. I'd arranged for Harley to go to my parents' house that day because I knew after the drugs he'd be all groggy. And sure enough he was making this noise all the time, which he's never done before, as if he was fed up. I took him to my parents' house so my mum could look after him, and she said that he just slept all day, which is good. And then the next day my nephew was there, apparently he was playing with him. So here's the thing, right? Up until this point Harley had been holding his leg up like this for a few weeks, but then he started having it down here. But he wouldn't walk on it, he couldn't stand on it or anything like that. Oh, I'm sorry, have I stopped rubbing your belly? It's so needy. The Saturday I went to go pick him up from my parents' house, I'd seen a vast improvement on him. For starters, he was walking on his leg. No limp whatsoever. However, when he starts trotting, he'll lift it up, but he only lifts it to here. He doesn't bring it right up here, it's just there. And I'm like, hold on a minute, he's walking on his leg now. So there's a lot of improvement there. So after much deliberation I thought, I'm going to leave it, mainly because I can't afford the surgery. Primarily because I don't want him to be unalived from the surgery. I've decided against doing that for now. We'll see how it goes. And now for the last few weeks he's been not just walking on his leg, he's been standing on his leg when he cocks his other one to leak. And I've noticed even this morning, every now and then when he's trotting, he'll use his leg and then he lifts it up again, then he puts it down again. So I think letting him just rest and let it naturally heal is the way to go. But like I said, we'll see. And he's going to have plenty of rest now that I'm off work. He can just lay around and be lazy. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing. And there you go, that's my story time for the other week. Every time I stop stroking him. You're not going to be happy in a bit, I'm going out and you're staying here. Yeah, I'm going to go meet Joe. Don't know what we're doing. I don't think there's been anything else to tell you. Okay, he's just fine. Was there anything else? If there was and I remember, I'll mention it later. But I think I've yammered on enough already. Right, time for me to go see Joe. And you've got to stay here, unfortunately. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned where I'm going. It's going to get mardy now. Just you watch. I know what it's like. And I'm here with Joe. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I've been at Joe's house. Didn't go anywhere. Had a coffee, some pizza. Got molested by 2 dogs. Hence all the dog hairs all over me. The reason that there were 2 dogs there is because they were looking after them for a friend. Yeah, didn't really do anything other than just hang out at Joe's house. Mainly because Archie didn't want to go anywhere, because all he wants to do is play Fortnite. Not much of a vlog today, unfortunately. I expected us to be going places, but, or you know, go out somewhere for a walk. Obviously not. But whilst I was there, I did remember the other thing that I was going to bring up earlier on when I was doing my little story time. about why I've been so tired. It's because last week I was on nights, and so to start that week, that Sunday before, I didn't go to bed till 4 o'clock in the morning, so I was sat playing GTA till then. And then I was up at around 11, I think, or 12, something like that, just to get myself into that pattern. Because I'd not done it for a few years, I figured that I needed that little bit of extra time to do that. It turns out it's like riding a bike. I had no issues whatsoever. I went to work, did what I needed to do there, got home, went to bed, straight out. Until the end of the week, because I was finishing at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. I was back at work 6 a.m. Monday morning. So I got home Saturday morning, went to bed. I woke up at about 8:15 needing the toilet. Couldn't get back to sleep, and I thought, oh well, get out of bed. For the rest of that day, well, from around dinner time, for the rest of the day, I kept falling asleep. I'd be sat in front of the TV, nodded off. 9 o'clock Saturday night, I went to bed. I was up at 6 a.m. Sunday thinking I'd be well rested. Oh no. The rest of that day, same again, just falling asleep. So I went to bed early that night, I think 9:30ish, so that I could be at work for 6 a.m. Monday morning. And I'd be alright, get up, get to work, do 12 hours, come home. I'd be tired, but I'd persevere, I'd watch a film or whatever on the TV, have my tea, and then around 9:30 or 10 o'clock I'm thinking it's time to go to bed. And that's when my brain suddenly fired and started waking up and just wouldn't go to sleep, because I was still in my brain on a night shift pattern. And I know this is true because it was like that all week. And then last night I didn't have to go to bed early, so I thought I'll just go to bed when I get tired. I went to bed at 20 to 2 in the morning and I still wasn't tired, but I forced myself to go to bed, and I didn't get up until 9:15 today. So yeah, that's why I've been tired. Right, I need to sign off. He's waiting for me to take him out, aren't you, dude? Look, see. Let's go, I want to go out. Will you stop jumping up? You need to keep that leg rested. Look at him. Wouldn't think he's hurt. I don't know. And I'm sorry today's vlog isn't really that spectacular. Oh well, I actually did think about not finishing the vlog and just scrapping it, but I kind of wanted to keep the story that I've been telling. And also, I didn't want to have to film it again. Anyway guys, I'm gonna go. I promise I will be vlogging whilst I'm off work, so it won't be another 3 weeks before I vlog. Touch wood. Right, all that's left for me to say now is thank you for watching and subscribing if you have, and liking this video if you did. Until the next time. I'm missing my... I usually go there. Peace out. What? I'm well out of practice, aren't I?